Krishna.
I'm Alan.
I'm Sapir.
I'm John. I'm Ninder.
And we're going to talk about how medicines save lives, but why are they so expensive? Yeah. So we're gonna sorry about that. So we're gonna start with a skit that talks about the issue at hand.
Hello everyone. Me, Alan, wonderful man diagnosed with malaria.
Damn it, I never experienced a fever and a headache to be malaria of all things. Gotta pay rent, buy groceries, file my taxes, and now also afford another drug. Oh dear lord, this Daraprim better be cheap. It's $13.50 how is it $13.50 per pill? 5 doses, so that's about what, $65. This is unbelievable. At least like insurance is probably covering most of it though, right?
Our angry and slightly worried patient rushes to the hospital and rushes home to schedule an appointment with his doctor.
Wait, no. Okay, and then I go to the pharmacy. I like the full course of Daraprim.
Sure thing, that's gonna be $750.
$750 for 5 pills. I looked it up yesterday.
Oh, you want
65
5 bills?
Yeah.
Oh,
5
so that's
pills.
gonna be $2,750.
What? No way. I can't afford this. No.
And then
Let's fast forward a couple of weeks. Our angry and slightly worried patient rushes to the hospital and rushes home to schedule an appointment with his doctor.
Alright, this doctor better tell me this is absolutely ridiculous. Do they expect me to die from this darn disease? Hello?
Hello, this is Dr. SK. How can I help you?
Hello, doctor. This is Alan speaking. I had an urgent concern regarding my malaria. I'm unable to afford Daraprim as sold by my pharmacy. I was wondering what like cheaper alternatives there are to it.
Hold on, let me look up some cheaper alternatives. You can use Malarone. Malarone is $181 for a full course.
Oh, that's significantly cheaper. Why not take Malarone to begin with?
The one problem is that there are a lot of side effects to Malarone, including you can get really bad nausea, you can also get jaundice. So if you can, I would still recommend that you take Daraprim.
Oh, yeah, no, don't worry, doc. I won't get jaundice or anything. Yeah, thank you for the help, though.
Yeah, no problem.
Let's fast forward a couple of weeks into our dear patient's life. After taking his course of Malarone, he unfortunately finds himself back at his doctor's office.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but this really turns out to be jaundice. We're going to have to ask you to get a CT scan to see what we need to do for you to...
A CT scan? That's gonna be like what, $2,000? And from there, how much is it gonna be to like completely get rid of this jaundice?
Well, it's really hard to say, but we might have to give you antibiotics if the situation is really bad, and that could add costs and everything. But I don't know. We don't know for sure, but yeah, we need to get you a CT
Oh
scan.
man, this is unbelievable. From one disease to another, my wallet is just getting lighter and lighter. And at this rate, I'm gonna die sooner from all my maladies than before I get cured. I swear, this healthcare system should be called a death care system.
And so, the life of our sad patient continues on, filled with misery, or well, until it doesn't continue anymore. He is simply another lower middle class man who is trying to make a living.
Hi guys, it's another skit again, but now in a parallel universe.
So as you can see from our script, this when we presented, a man is suffering from a disease, malaria. He is not be able to afford the price because the prices are overpriced, and he will soon die, which is sad. But if there was more government regulation, there would be cheaper prices, and more middle-class men would afford the drug. And our thesis that we presented is that U.S. government should regulate drug prices so it can increase accessibility, prevent people from making life-threatening decisions, and protecting the citizens' right to live.
So the main issue that we're going to talk about is that there is such a high price tag to everything, and one common example is malaria, and what people use to treat malaria, regular malaria, with is the antibiotic doxycycline hypate, which in 2014 it costed about $20, but in the same year it went through a 9,000% increase to $1,849. So that's obviously like out of reach for middle or lower class people. And the thing is, doxycycline hypate is like a generic drug, which means it was invented a long time ago. Patents, everything were already done to it. It should be accessible to everyone. Everyone should go through any like burden of trying to get it. And so we believe that it's immoral to put such a high price on people's survival, right? So what we think should be done is that the government should be able to regulate the drug prices. So this means that they'll increase everybody's like chances of survival and protect everyone's safety by making them more accessible to drugs.
Okay, so the inaccessibility to medicine may lead to people to taking risks when it comes to taking their prescriptions. So people may manipulate their prescribed medicines by trying to prolong the life of their prescriptions, and when they take less than they are instructed to, it may lead to risk to their health. So a survey from the U.S. Department of Health showed that 8% of their participants they reduced or cut their doses due to the lack of affordability. So what are the risks when it comes to cutting the doses? So it may lead to new complications within their medical condition, or it may lead to brand new ones. And with that, they may be hospitalized, or medical personnel may need to come and help them. And when that happens, they're gonna get like a big hospital bill, and that affects them financially. And in the future, it's gonna be harder for them to afford the medicine that they need. And financially, CAM methods, this is what affects them also health-wise and financial-wise. So CAM stands for complementary or alternative methods. And these are basically just cheaper methods opposed from traditional scientific medicine. And natural therapies are one great example of this. And some natural therapies are acupuncture, aromatherapy, homeopathy, and chiropractic therapy. And this is risky as those therapies, they lack the efficiency and effectiveness that scientific and traditional medicine have.
Protecting citizens' rights is of the utmost importance to government and the people. Pharmaceutical companies are always profiting off of others' misfortunes because they can raise the prices wherever they want, and they aren't regulated. Some pharmaceutical companies can pay off generic companies to like delay the manufacturing of a drug that the pharmaceutical companies have out, so then they can make more profit because they don't have to regulate the prices. This is not fair for obvious reasons, and it's very immoral. The government should have the power to standardize drug prices and make them more affordable for the public. There's other countries that sell the same drug that these pharmaceutical companies in the U.S. are for 80% cheaper because the regulations and laws that the government has implemented over there. And if we just use just a little bit of like their laws and combine it with ours, we can use it as a basis to change our own system.
So let's talk about the main counter arguments with the whole with medicine price raising, and that's that people argue that increasing medicine prices allows people funds to be gained to fund new research, or they need the money to fund the research that was needed to develop that very revolutionary drug that is so expensive. But many a times, some of the drugs just don't need to be so expensive. I mean, for example, for diabetics, insulin is an important drug, but insulin was developed and researched in 1921, which is a very long time ago. And so any patent involved with that was has already expired, and like there's no need for insulin to cost $200. And because diabetes affects about 1 in 11 Americans, it's really important that people of all socioeconomic classes can access drugs like insulin. Another example is epinephrine. A lot of people have allergies to severe allergies and can get anaphylaxis from consuming some very harmful substance for them. But epinephrine was discovered in 1900. And so the patent for epinephrine, again, has long expired. But there's no reason for epinephrine to cost $600 or $200 when so many people need to be able to afford it. It needs to be at a price that can be affordable to people of all classes of society. In addition, it also is just purely immoral to have prices just so high for drugs that like save lives. So while it's important to fund the research, corporations shouldn't like charge such high prices that people are going to die because of them. For example, a very extreme example of this is Bayer had a drug called Nexavar, which is a really important drug for pancreatic cancer. But in India, they regulated the price, but the CEO of Bayer said, we did not develop the medicine for Indians. We developed it for Western patients who can afford it. So what this kind of says is that although corporations are trying to fund research, it seems that most of the time they're trying to give they're charging such high prices because they just care about the money that they're getting to fund more research, and that's just immoral. I mean, think about it. Like innocent lives dying in India, it's just not fair. And Bayer shouldn't be charging such high prices and be causing the death of so many people. Instead, the governments, including like the Indian government did, governments here should regulate the prices of such expensive drugs and make them inexpensive and more accessible to those who really need it, and those in all socioeconomic classes.
There should be government regulation to increase the accessibility for all drugs in the U.S. To avoid taking the wrong medications, individuals should buy from inexpensive parties, therefore create like a majority so they can afford the drug. This protects people's right by supplying it the majority with an affordable drug. There should be a law regarding the complexities of price that's in association with saving a life or like ending a life. The U.S. should look at other systems like the European systems for the basis of change for our own. Kind of like the Bill of Rights, how we took the English Bill of Rights and made it into our own, and like Cato's letters kind of inspired the American Revolution. And we should petition the government if there's no change in the horizon, so because we have to enact change.
So to conclude our presentation, we really encourage you guys to look up petitions like lower drug prices petitions and sign them and try to get in on the topic and try to make sure that Congress lowers the prices and drugs can be more affordable for everyone, because this can happen to anybody. And more importantly, it's important that we spread the word. Because when we spread the word, when more people are aware of the situation, when more people are involved, when more people know what's going on, the more likely that when they shout at Congress, that Congress will do something about the medicine prices. And so that acts are like passed and laws are passed to help regulate the prices and stop the price gouging that corporations do. And to complete, we're gonna do the a new skit. So.
Hi guys, it's another skit again, but now it's in a parallel universe. We're going to revisit our lovely patient, except now healthcare isn't as crappy.
Damn it, I never expected a fever and a headache to be malaria of all things. Gotta pay rent, buy groceries, file taxes, and now also afford another drug. Oh dear lord, this Daraprim better be cheap. It's $13.50. How is it $13.50? Okay, so 5 doses, that's about what, $65? This is unbelievable. Well, at least insurance is probably covering most of it.
Our lovely patient Alan goes to sleep a little unsettled, but with a sense of security now.
I'd like the full course of Daraprim, please.
Sure thing, sir. It's going to be $65 in total, and with some help from your insurance, that'll come out to you $30 plus tax.
Oh, great. Thank you so much.
I have a nice day.
You too.
And so our patient heads home, and a couple of weeks later, his malaria is all gone, unlike the money as well.